There we go. Encounter, Chapter 4. No, wait. Part 4. Encounter with Naga. Wait. Part 4. A guided tour of Nirvana. Encounter with Naga. You are now floating in the dark void. Below is manifest creation, a translucent, shimmering sphere containing all there is and appearing like a small lost balloon in the vastness of the infinite void. Suddenly you notice a dot of light in the darkness and you move quickly to investigate. It looks like a barred window with light coming through it. You move closer, a beautiful warm light and vibrations of love are pouring out through the window. Naturally, you want to go in, but unfortunately, the head of an enormous snake shows up in the window. He hisses and says in snake language, "What do you want?" Well, you say, "I'm just a tourist interested in finding out what this is all about." Well, says the snake, "This is Nirvana, and once you get in, you can't get out. So, do you really want to go in?" And before you know it, the big snake slithers around the wall and hisses at you angrily. Now you can see his size. He is tremendous. His head is as big as a good-sized living room, and his fangs are like large tusks. He appears very fierce and belligerent. He repeats again, "Do you really want to go in?" Well, with this kind of welcoming committee, very few people would be encouraged to enter and most would have second thoughts about it. You say to the snake, "Will you open your mouth a little wider, please?" He is clearly caught by surprise and certainly has not been expecting this response to his hissing and carrying on, so he opens his mouth wider and you can already see his big throat. Then you say, "Open just a bit more, please." The snake looks puzzled. He stops hissing and is obviously at a loss about what to expect next. But he goes along and opens his mouth really wide. At this point, you jump right down his throat and keep going. Now comes a long trip through the snake's belly, and lo, you emerge into the light of Nirvana from the other end of the snake. Even the guardian of Nirvana, like all other snakes, has two ends. Well, you did it. It is not the most dignified way to enter Nirvana, nor is it a very legal one, but you are in. You leave the snake behind to ponder the consequences of all that happened and go about exploring Nirvana before he gets around to doing something about your illegal entry. It is really a nice place. What a contrast to the dark void outside. It's difficult to describe the good vibes and the all-pervading light. As you move along, you find high throne-like structures all luminous with people sitting cross-legged on them meditating. Some angels are hanging over them, apparently for decoration. Bliss pervades everything. The people are totally unaware of what is happening around them, for they are immersed in their meditation, experiencing constant and intense bliss. Upon closer examination, you find that this state of bliss is caused by pure consciousness, the void flowing through their bodies. It enters their heads and flows down and out the bottoms of their spines. From there, it flows into the manifest creation, which is located below them. You are able to examine the heads of these people and find to your surprise that they contain no thoughts. The thinking process would interfere with and alter the flow of pure consciousness. These beings are drawing the flow of consciousness through them, but are not affecting it in any way. Seeing all these pure and exalted beings, you begin to feel remorseful about the trick you pulled on the snake, not wanting him to get into trouble with the authorities because of your illegal behavior. You go back to the cashier's window to apologize. The snake, let us call him a Naga, turns out to be a good sport. Well, he says cheerfully, "Win a few, lose a few, you can't win them all. It was a neat trick you pulled on me." Encouraged by Naga's attitude, you start asking him about his work and about Nirvana in general. Nirvana, as you know, he says, is really a blind alley of evolution. People are interested solely in their own bliss, and they don't care about others. That's why I'm supposed to scare them away from here. But if they decide to come in anyway, in spite of my warnings, it's their right. They worked for it and are entitled to their bliss. However, they will not evolve beyond this. Emboldened by Naga's friendly behavior, you ask him for guided tour of Nirvana. I guess I can take off, he says. Business is slow today. And with that, he dips out his enormous forked tongue, picks you up, deposits you on his back, and off you go. Naga slithers rapidly among the throngs, making some snide remarks here and there. You notice that the people in Nirvana are practically all Easterners. Yes, says Naga, the West has not discovered it yet, and besides, Westerners seem more active and tend not to come here. You find that by whispering sweet little things into Naga's ear, and especially by scratching him behind his ear, you can make him quite talkative and downright humorous. He has a good dry humor. Traffic has been very slow here in the last few millennia, and it's getting worse. Nowadays, people care more for each other, and wanting to help the evolution of their fellow men, they bypass Nirvana. We are considering closing down the place or operating with only a skeleton crew. Naga points at his protruding ribs with a sigh. Soon we are back at his post near the window. You say goodbye to your new friend, scratch him behind the ear once more, kiss him on the nose, and off you go back into the void. Hold on. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.